Thank you, Spider. Mamai Flabo. Mamai Flabo. Are you ready for business? Are you ready for business? Let's get this show on the road. Mamai Flabo, you have been hearing us saying that we have potentially lost 1.4 billion US dollars. You've heard us say that. You have heard us say that that $1.4 billion in US would amount to over $3 billion in EC local currency. That's over $1 billion more than the current budget that we just had by this St. Lucia Labour Party. We have been asking questions, but very little answers. We have been asking, where is the money? We continue to ask, where is the money? We continue to ask, is there the money that is due to St. Lucia? Is that money in St. Lucia? Is that money going to ever come to St. Lucia? But as we continue to ask our questions, we see the Minister of CIP, Ernest Hilaire. The more he talks, the more he makes us nervous about the future of our CIP program. The more he makes us nervous about the allegations made against him and his government. The more he makes us believe that St. Lucia is in trouble with the RICO court case filed by Martinez. And so, St. Lucia, I want to focus tonight on what we could have done with that money. I want us to ask ourselves and really think of how much money is at stake and how much money we are about to lose if we don't get our hands on this money. This is not Ernest's money. This is not Philip J. Pierre's money. This is not Richard Frederick's money. This is your money. This is you, the people of St. Lucia's money. And you deserve to know where the money is. Just like Stephenson King, as the chairman said, that he went and asked Martinez where the money is. Is the money for the infrastructure program coming or is it not coming? So you need to ask questions. You need to get angry about the money, and the evidence of your money needs to show up soon. And so, Mamai Flabo, just imagine $1.4 billion. No drugs in the hospital. We saw the letter this week. No beds for terminally ill people. But yet, the government says that they have implemented a portion of the universal health care program. Most nurses are leaving St. Lucia because they're badly paid. But yet, the government gives Galaxy this sweetheart deal. They've implemented a 2.5% tax on the backs of you, the people of St. Lucia, while they give Galaxy a sweetheart deal to go and make millions, over $1 billion US dollars on the back of you, the people of St. Lucia. They said that the tax that they have put on is for health and for security. But yet we hear from the Police Welfare Association that police officers need to share bulletproof vests. Something that the Police Welfare Association says is very not hygienic. They have cut school subsidies. They have picked up taxes from the gas. They have not passed on the savings to you, the people of St. Lucia, which should really have gone to reduce the price of gas. They've left the price of gas and they have taken all of their money. So while you struggle, Galaxy is making it. The lawyers that are booking the CIP are making it. We have estimated in the UWP that the lawyers that are booking and processing the CIP program would have accumulated some $39 million just in booking fees alone in the CIP program. So when will you, the people of St. Lucia, benefit from the CIP? When will you get housing? When will you get schools? When will you get proper roads and community centers and good scholarships? And when will you see benefits to the CIP program? You know, I can tell you that while we were there, and the limited amount of revenue that we picked up in the CIP, because we were all about making sure that this thing was done right. We were never going, you could never hear that under Alan Chasney there were 6,000 passports for the hotel. I mean, what I remember, there were 700 passports for the hotel. How did it get to 6,000? And why wouldn't Hilaire feel it necessary to come and clear up to say whether it is 6,000, whether it is 5,000, or whether it is 3,000? But what I want to say to you is that when the banana farmers had their problems with the storm, you guys remember we had a hurricane? It was the CIP money that we collected, that we put to help the banana farmers when they went through Tropical Storm Brett. When the tourism industry was seeking to make a comeback and didn't have any money to market itself, it was the CIP money then that we used to help to resuscitate the tourism industry. When we were going into the Owen King EU hospital and it needed furnishings, it needed to be set up and to be completed, to open, it was the CIP money that we used, the limited CIP funds that we have, that we put back into you, the people of St. Lucia's life. We were never shy to give information about Galaxy. When we gave the concessions and the incentives, the tax breaks to Galaxy for the hotel development, all of it was laid in Parliament. We made that information public. There are statements made by the former Prime Minister, by myself, about what the agreement with Galaxy was, what the responsibility of Galaxy was, what the responsibility of the government of St. Lucia is. But this week, Ernest is going to tell a radio program, a talk show host, that it is wrong for him to share information about a company. It is wrong for him to tell the people of St. Lucia how many passports the government had agreed to sell. It is wrong, he said, to let us know what the deal is with Galaxy. I say to Ernest that that's a big fat lie. I say to Ernest that you continue to lie to the people of St. Lucia. I say to Ernest that everywhere in the world, almost 80 countries in the world has what is called a Freedom of Information Act. Meaning that you, members of the public, can go and get information. You can get it online. You can look at any government program. Once it has to do with your resources, state-owned resources, you have a right to know what the government is making available to any developer. You have a right to see contracts. You have a right to see agreements between government and private sector developers. And so the government is not SLP's government. It is not Ernest's government. It is not Philip's government. It is not Stevenson King's government. The government belongs to you, the people of St. Lucia, and you deserve to know what is going on with the affairs of your resources. And so they asked him as well, can you tell us whether the chairman has resigned? He said, well, you will have to ask the chairman whether he has resigned or not. I mean, when I appointed a chairman of the tourist board, I was in charge of that chairman. I knew whether he was going or whether he was coming. And if I didn't know whether the chairman had a job or not, I felt that I had to resign. And so Ernest, if you don't know whether Lon Theophilus has resigned or not, then you are not fit to be minister of the CIP. So it's a simple question. Has Lon Theophilus resigned? Let's stop going around and beating around the bush. This is a crucial and important matter where millions of our money are at stake. They asked him about the secretary. Ernest, why did the secretary resign? He said that there was a journalist who called the secretary and intimidated the secretary. Now think about this for a moment. The secretary is the corporate secretary. She's also the legal secretary. It means that she's a trained lawyer. And you're saying to me that a reporter from a TV station with no legal background can call her and intimidate her about the law? I mean, do you really believe that St. Lucians are that stupid? That they will fall for such a lie? This is a big, fat lie. Ernest, stop the lying. Stop the stealing. We need to know the honest truth. What is going on with the CIP department? Why is it that we do not know whether you have a corporate secretary or whether you have a chairman? We need to know. And so Ernest continues to skirt around the issues. I mean, could you imagine? 6,000 passports at 200,000, $1.2 billion to build a hotel. Now think about that. I mean, as I was prepping last night, I was laying in my bed and I was trying to think of a hotel in St. Lucia that we have built that has cost 1.2 billion US dollars. And I said, you know, I'd have to defer to the leader of the opposition because he has been in tourism longer than I am. But I will bet the leader of the opposition that he cannot find a hotel anywhere in the Caribbean that is worth 1.2 billion US dollars. I am going to bet my bottom dollar that maybe Bahama in the Bahamas and maybe Atlantis in the Bahamas in Paradise Island. But I cannot think of any hotel anywhere in the Eastern Caribbean that's going to cost 1.2 billion US dollars. We remember the project being 350 million. And so if you have allowed Galaxy to sell passports to the tune of $1.2 billion, 24,000 passports, it would mean that you are allowing Galaxy to make a profit of 950 million US dollars on the backs of the people of St. Lucia. I mean, who makes an agreement like this? Who goes and sell the people of St. Lucia out like this? Who does this to a country they claim they love? And Ernest claims that he loves St. Lucia, that he's a product of St. Lucia, that he belongs more than those of us who are not born here in St. Lucia. You love your country and that's what you do? You sell out your country like that? I mean, I knew that the Labour Party people are bad negotiators, but I never knew that they were as bad as this, that they would allow someone to come and say to them that they need $1.2 billion to build a hotel. We need to know who is getting a cut where. We need to know. And so, I don't feel good coming here and gloat. Every time I have to come and talk about this issue, it depresses me. It makes me feel ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I'm in disgrace to be here. Because here it is. We just had a proud moment yesterday. We just had one of our patriots making us proud. And we have to continue in this mess, in this CIP scandal, where the Labour Party government continues to embarrass our country. Then they claim that the UWP is afraid. Their favorite line: we are afraid that if they succeed with the CIP, they're going to build homes, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Well, I want to say to Ernest that based on the record and the track record of your government, nobody is afraid of y'all implementing anything. We give you all the Millennium Highway, y'all can't finish it up to now. Look at the roundabout there, the longest roundabout in the history of the Caribbean. Up to now, y'all cannot do it. The bridge was built, the cul-de-sac bridge, waiting for y'all for 3 years just to connect the road. Not like you are building a new road. You are just repaving a road. And up to now, you cannot finish. Ernest, if we had to go based on that, look at crime. You have failed the people of St. Lucia on crime. You have, instead of protecting the people, you are protecting yourself. Look at healthcare. Look at the damning report that has come from the Mental and Dental Association. It is not my words. It is the doctors themselves saying that they have not seen it so bad in St. Lucia, that healthcare is at an all-time low in this country. So you, Ernest, you are not fooling any of us, because you are a complete failure when it comes to managing the affairs of this country. But I want to put Ernest and all of those passports that are being undervalued and undersold. When the United Workers' Party is elected, and when we get into government, within weeks, the very first thing we will do is revoke every single passport that is illegal. That is illegal. And we will say to them, you better pay up. You better pay the legal price, or you cannot be a citizen of St. Lucia. And I want to congratulate Dominica. The Prime Minister of Dominica this week has done the right thing. He has said that there has been corruption. And he didn't send memos like Ernest, who's proud of saying that he sent memos to the agents who he heard that is underselling our program. The Prime Minister of Dominica has revoked 68 citizenships. Citizens from Iraq, people from Russia, people from other Far Eastern countries, people from Nigeria. He has said that, look, we cannot continue to be a fraudulent country. We cannot allow people to commit fraud in our country. We cannot allow our country to be stained like this. And so 68 citizens were revoked in Sister Island of Dominica. But you know, it took Dominica to lose their visa-free access. And the reason we are fighting here in St. Lucia is that it doesn't or shouldn't have to get to that state. To us here in St. Lucia, we want to make sure that you can still go to Martinique, that you can still go to Paris if you want to without a visa, that you can still go wherever you want, that you can go to the UK and visit friends if you want without having to need a visa, that you can still travel as freely as you want, that you can still buy things online, that you can still get people to go to West Tech and do online transactions. You know what has happened in Dominica recently? In Dominica, Bank of America has just stopped processing all CIP transactions. Bank of America, and I heard Martinez said on television that he has shared documents with the same Bank of America, and Bank of America has received those documents, evidence to show that there are over 300 fraudulent passport transactions in St. Lucia's CIP program. But Ernest has said nothing about this. All he has said is that he sent them memos. This is like your child misbehaving, and you are saying to that child, oh, don't do that, don't do that, stop it, stop it. Now it's not a time for a weak government. Now it's a time for a strong government to come in and to fix this crisis. We don't need people in government right now who will be colluding with investors to rob you, the people of St. Lucia. We don't need people who will be co-conspirators in lawsuits. We don't need people who will be defendants in lawsuits, whose name will be in the U.S. federal courts. We need good, upstanding people who will come into government and who will clean up the CIP program from day number one. Stop the deals now. And so, St. Lucia, I want to ask you today to take a very, very serious reflection and to ask yourself whether we can afford as a small country to lose over $1 billion. I want you to ask yourself whether we can allow the Chinese company to rape our treasury the way that this government has allowed them to rape the treasury. I want you to ask yourself whether this money is important to our national development. I am calling you to action. I am asking you to step forward and to rally and to come out and to walk with us tomorrow to call for the resignation of the Deputy Prime Minister, of the CIP CEO, and all those who have allowed this scandal to take place in this country, who has allowed a Chinese company to take advantage on our little beloved country. I want you to join us as we walk tomorrow to the Prime Minister's office to drop a letter for the resignation of Ernest Hilaire and all of those people who have been guilty. So I want you to ensure that you take a stand. I want you to take responsibility to help us to get our monies back. I want you to make sure that not only that, but you also recognize that the next election is the most important election in our country's history. I mean, let's look at Ernest's history. Hilaire, who parades around and tells all of us that he's an upstanding man, has had issues with his own character since West Indies Cricket Board. He has had issues when he was the High Commissioner of the UK, the St. Lucia High Commissioner. He's had issues with a diplomatic passport that he made available to Jafali. He is the Accountant General, wrote a report to the former government to suggest that he illegally opened a bank account where himself and Jafali were signing on the account. Several checks of the same account went to Ernest's without any explanation on the stubs as to what the monies were for. He said that the monies belonged to the state. He said that the account was the High Commissioner's account, but yet there was no explanation. How do you sign a check to yourself if you are the signatory to an account? We know now about the Rovergate scandal with Ernest and the Range Rover trying to defraud taxes. And just like he has threatened to have a legal suit against Peter Chico, the former customs controller, he is now trying to intimidate Lisa Joseph, a journalist who is courageous enough, who is bold enough, who has the confidence enough to stand up to the St. Lucia Labour Party and their bully. Now he is threatening to say that he is going to take Lisa Joseph to court. I mean, what is this about? What is this about? She is simply asking questions like the rest of us. We want to know, where is the money? we want to know, is the money ever going to reach St. Lucia? We want to know, Ernest, when will we get the money? Answer our questions. We want to ask you, and we are not asking anymore. We're demanding of you, please give us our money or else face the penalty. Mama Iflabo, I thank you very much for this evening.